Welcome back to game number 2, folks. In this best of 5 finals for the APSC2 Christmas Invitational. Again, big shout-outs to Team APSC2, the StarCraft 2 Spanish team that threw this all together and gave us some cool events to watch over the holidays while all the other big tournaments have gone on break. That being said, spawning here in the upper left corner of the map, down 1 in this series. From Mouse Sports, it is the Yellow Zerg, Vortix. And his opponent in the lower right. I guess if we do the map completely the other way around. No, it'd still be upper left. Damn it. All right, well, anyways, lower right, it is the Red Zerg player from Acer Esports. Give it up for Nerchio. But okay, this is, I don't know. Game 1 was rather abrupt, but it made sense. I would really hope this game gets to go out a little bit longer. But that being said, when you're summoning Nerchio's position, let's talk highly of him for a moment. I love Vortix. He's a really good player. He's one of my favorite ones. I've been following him and his brother for the longest time. Both opening with a 13 pool, most likely with gas. We'll see if that ends up being the case here in a second. The slightly earlier pools are just sort of, I would like to classify them as paranoia pools, just in case pools. They don't really hurt your economy, but they do make it so that if your opponent's coming at you with a 6 pool or 10 pool or something, you'll have links out early enough to deal with it. Anyways, going back to what I was saying before, I love Vortix. He does great in team leagues. He's been representing his team quite well, but let's be honest, Nerchio's just got experience under his belt. Nerchio's got a DreamHack victory. He's got Zotac monthly cups. He wins, I would imagine, go for StarCraft cups too from time to time. We don't really cover as much of this as we do Zotac, but I've seen him win big on multiple occasions. To be honest, he's kind of the definitely the I think the statistical favorite in this matchup. There's that website Aligulac that could probably prove me wrong, I'm sure, but not at all shocked to see him start off this series so strong against Vortix. We'll see what Vortix can really do, though. Of course, for him, you can consider him the underdog if you like. I just see him as the less favorite player because he's still really strong. I gotta say, the 4 circling opener out of Nerchio too last game was kind of cool. Wasn't the biggest deal in the world, but it was kind of neat to see a slight difference, I guess, putting his own little style on the matchup. But metabolic speed, well, I guess it's metabolic speed, but metabolic boost for Nerchio taken out quite early, and he's pulled completely off of gas. If Vortex scouts this, he'll probably smell the Zergling all-in coming, but he has to scout it to really be able to defend against it. He may end up going for, like, you know, that defensive bailing nest that you typically get in ZVZ, but if he does, it's going to be a little bit late. It might be, in fact, too late if he doesn't see this coming. And Nerchio is actively chasing the Overlord out of the base to make sure that this does not get scouted. I think if you could, like, burrow an an extractor, you would, so your opponent couldn't see that you took gas as easily, but not going to be the case. Now, Bailing Nest is being brought up at home for Vortex. He's even putting in the main instead of the natural, so even less defense out here. It's going to make this quite hairy to deal with. Tenling's already coming out. Nerchio's going to stop drone production right now in order to do basically a Speedling all-in and try and run over his opponent. Now, speed, of course, it doesn't add any actual damage. It doesn't make you attack faster, but it allows you to get the positional advantage, to surround easier, force engagements where you want them to be forced. And if he goes soon enough, he'll hit at a timing where there'll only at most be like 4 Bailings available, if that, because Vortex's gas count is not exactly skyrocketing off of one geyser. And the Bailing Nest finishes up right about meow. Couple Bailings will be morphed in right away. But of course, again, with speed, he can stick 1 or 2 Lings per Bailing, and he'll kill them off. Obviously, suicide the Lings in the process, unfortunately. But Queen's going up on the ramp. He saw the Speedlings leaving the base thanks to the Overlords, and now Vortex knows exactly what he has to defend against. But can Nerchio do enough damage? Oh, he's got to be careful, though. The Bailings. All right. One gets focused down. The other one is a little bit in danger. He's saying, all right, if you don't want to fight me, I'll force you to fight me. Goes for the hatchery kill here. Unfortunately, will not get it, but instead kills the Bailings. Now it allows him to take a bit of a fight around the drones, focusing them down. Going to dance around a little bit, can't evacuate out if he needs to. Again, this is the advantage of having metabolic boost. Vortex is finishing up in just a second's time, so Nerchio's only got this advantage for a few more seconds. Vortex is about to turn on the afterburners now. So now Nerchio forced to take a very, very unfortunate dance around this base. I think scouting towards the main might be his best bet with a couple of these Lings, but tries to get out with everything alive. He's got a Bailing Nest coming in back at home, but he doesn't have anything behind this. He's got Zerglings on the way. I guess I take that back. He'll be fine for any sort of counterattack. But, of course, for him, minimizing the Zergling loss means maximizing how many extra Bailings he'll have available for the upcoming engagement. So I like that he took the extra care to keep those Zerglings alive. Now in a home defensive fight with his own Zerglings and a Queen to get involved, Vortex has no way to win this Zergling war. Bit of a cute, awkward. Baneling did not quite get to complete. Almost did. If that had popped, that would have been dangerous. That would have been like, Nerchio, you're screwed. But 20 more links coming out of Nerchio. Vortix is opting to go for drones, to go for a lair behind this, expecting Nerchio to perhaps also dial it back, but that's not going to be the case. As, again, lots and lots of speed links coming out across the map. May have lost this sort of skirmish in the middle of the map, but Vortix has got Baneling's coming at home. He's got a Spinecrawler coming down. The Spinecrawler might be a little bit too late, might be a little bit needless, but still, Nerchio with a lot of Banelings morphing outside of his opponent's base. 8 on the way. Yeah, the wall-off has begun. The Banelings are here, but unfortunately they're not the best hit in the world, and now Nerchio moves on forward. Can he get to that mineral line is the big question. Great focus fire with these queens. Vortix makes sure that there's very minimal losses here, and even if this Baneling goes off, it's not going to connect to much of anything. 2 more Banelings coming forward. The drones are stacked. Nerchio wants to get in there, but he knows he can't get through that mineral line, so instead takes another hit. Looks like the natural will be focused down, though, focusing on the lings instead of the hatchery. Surprise! Nerchio takes out your natural base, and now Vortix, someone who's gone for 4 gases and a quick layer, cannot effectively afford to go for Mutalisks. If he was going to go for that Spire, he can't do it anymore. Well, he's still going to do it, but he can't do it as effectively. His income is going to be harshly stinted off of this, not just because of the gas production, but also because of the mineral count being incredibly low. So Nerchio coming back for round 2. This is fantastic, by the way. I love that he's doing this. Getting that natural base snipe was insanely important. Coming forward with this game, though, there's 2 Spinecrawlers, there's a hell of a lot of Banelings. Nerchio's got to back off with his Zerglings. At this point, he could try to take a 3rd base of his own, but is just finishing up his lair here. So we'll see if he also goes for his Spire. This is one of the few times where you can elect to be a little bit later with your Spire too, because again, you know your opponent's going to have such like their income's basically been halved compared to yours for the next few moments until the hatchery's remade. So Nerchio is going to take his 3rd, and I think this is probably the best course of action. If he takes his 3rd, goes for Mutalisks, he should be able to pull ahead of Vortix, because there's no way Vortix barely establishes his natural and goes for a 3rd at the same time. And if Vortex's 3rd is incredibly behind, it'll be the same scenario, the same case as last game. Oh boy. Zerglings, man. What other tier 1 unit is this exciting? Like, you got Zealots versus Zealots, you're like, oh boy, he proxied, this will be over quick. Or like Marines versus Marines, you're like, okay, there's siege tanks behind it, not a big deal. But Banelings, Zerglings, this is where the excitement lies. 5 Mutalisks coming out here, but Nerchio's not electing to go for his own Mutalist. In fact, he's going for an infestation bit. Kind of not too different than his opponent, who did, or not opponent, his teammate rather, who did in fact also go for Infestors over top of his own Mutalisks. These can work, guys. Nerchio does have some of the better Infestor control in the game, and we'll see just how he can utilize this. There's a lot of Banelings on the other side of the map, and looks like he will try and tear down his opponent's 3rd once more. Yeah, Mutalisk's going to pick off the Banelings before they can even connect, so Nerchio already forced back out of this. This is the unfortunate thing about Mutalisk. Even in low counts, a player like Nerchio, who's had map control, suddenly loses it in a heartbeat. Simply because he can't shoot upwards. So now the Banelings will get picked off. A little bit sad to see. One good thing about Zerglings, though, of course, is that there's so many of them, Mutalisks cannot easily deal with them. However, 5 Spore Crawlers certainly can. So defending up his bases quite nicely is Nerchio. He should be fine with 6 in total, 2 at each base. There's still some gaps, of course. Mutalisks actually get to the 3rd before they finish up. Spore Crawler will take out 1 Mutalisk with it. No, actually just barely doesn't kill it. And now the Queen's going to go down too. This Spore Crawler does finish, but it's not in range to defend anything. This Spore Crawler needs to finish so he can transfuse it, but cancels it because he's forced to. Zergling's in a bit of an awkward spot, but repositions the other Spore Crawler, so now can actually defend against this. Mutalisks are volatile, dirty creatures, but Vortix has gone for the Carapace first. He's expecting Nerchio to have his own Mutalisks, but Nerchio did not go for Mutalisks, not at all. Oh, make sure you get game music on if you don't, Pertiv. Just saying. But yeah, Nerchio with, man, the Infestors are going to work out nicely if he gets a good fungal off, especially on top of a Spore Crawler, but that is a lot easier said than done. Alright, Mutalisks coming back for round 2. There's a Queen, there's 2 Spore Crawlers. Vortix knows he can't get a lot done, decides back up. He's even starting to transition into Roaches behind this. This is actually a common thing to see. It used to be you go to Mutalisks into whatever the hell you could to stay in the game, but or just snowball out of control. That being said, the Roach transition is not too bad. I'm pretty keen on this. Nerchio's got his own Ling upgrades coming out, or finished up, but he doesn't have his own Roaches ready to go, so If he's looking to play Ling and Fester for a long time, yeah, I don't know if this will necessarily work. The Air Carapace, I'm surprised, hasn't been canceled out of Vortex either. He's got to know Nerchio's not doing Mutalisks at this point. But Nerchio's actually saying, you know what? Surprise. I might just end up going for Mutalisks. Third base loses a drone or two, thanks to that Strikingly Run By. Not a lot more on top of that, though. Lings in the main will be cleaned up, too. Infestors have been revealed at this point, but so has the Spire, I believe, coming down the natural. He did scout that, so Vortex with a lot of roaches. Actually, no, I take that back. He did not scout it. He has no idea that there's a Spire transition coming out of this, because he saw in the main there was no Spire. One Infestor looking for some good fungals here in the main. Alright, Nerchio coming across the map with a lot of Lings. He definitely wants to get some damage into the third, but with this many roaches, with the Banelings and the Spine Crawler down, I just can't see this happening. Yeah. He's still going to try and make it happen. That's a hell of a lot of Lings. If he gets his own Infestors across the map, he can start adding into this a little bit. 14 Mutalisks can come. Actually, Vortex, who is... at 11 Mutalisks still, will have the upgrade advantage. That +1 Carapace actually comes in huge when it comes to ZBZ, as it reduces the Glaive Worm bounce damage as well, not just the initial hit. But natural base, kind of clumping up these mutas for now. Really worried about these roaches, though. I don't know that Nerchio can actually deal with this. He doesn't have enough Lings to fully surround an entire army like this. His army supply is, in fact, incredibly low compared to that of Vortex's. Yes, he's got fungal growths, and there will be some infested Terrans with us, but will that be enough is going to be the big question as we go forward. A couple fungals come down to lock these in place. Beautiful infested Terran spread, and another fungal growth needs to go off. Does land quite nicely on these roaches, but most of the ground forces are completely eradicated. That being said, Nerchio still pushing in strong with the Mutas, wins the air fight. This should give him dominance over the ground. Unfortunately, most of these infestors will go down. Roach is going to run right on by, and while Mutalisks can clean these up, they do have Carapace upgrades. They're not going to go down very quickly. 17 Mutalisks to clean this up. Can he do it? It's going to be the big question. He's certainly going to take drone losses, already down to 40 workers and dwindling. 23 have been killed on this. Third base has been completely evacuated, save that one drone. Main base is being gutted raw as we speak, but the roaches are about to die. They're about to get cleaned up, and Nerchio's got this insane air dominance. Vortex, who's forced to now go into Hydralisk, recognizing that there's no way he makes up that gap in Mutalisks, will actually be a little bit susceptible to Banelings if Nerchio decides to go for it. He has elected to go for an investment in melee upgrades, which means the Banelings will hit a little bit harder. With Baneling speed, if he gets centrifugal hooks, those Hydralisks will be a non-issue for the Mutalisks. A lot of it really does come into positioning. Cleaning up the roaches, though, still meandering around the map. This Mutalisk lead is quite good. There's a couple Spore Crawlers down, though. Nerchio should not be able to push into this third base. Not with 3 Spore Crawlers, Hydralisks, and Queens, though. If he does, he's just... he's going to commit suicide is what he's going to do. But he held off the attack. He lost a lot of workers, but still in somewhat even worker count afterwards. He's got this extra base, sure, but it's not... actually, that roach didn't die. Mutalisk, go back, you scumbag. What are you doing? Alright, we'll run by some multiple base locations by these roaches. Once again, natural base under assault. Main has been killed. Roaches are doing everything they can, and Nerchio, well, he's up to 39 workers lost so far, and that number's still climbing. This should get cleaned up. Yeah, there's going to be infestors for fungal growth. There's going to be Banelings if Nerchio decides to make them. If he can fungal the Hydralisk and just walk the Banelings into them, Vortex could lose everything. Nerchio's got the potential for a composition to win this game, but he can't fly the Mutalisk straight in head-on the way he has currently. You can try and fungal growth the Hydralisk too, I guess. They don't have a lot of health. With only 80 health, it'll take about 3 or 4 fungals to kill them, but that being said, that's not something you can really rely on. It takes a lot of time for that to tick too. And yeah, we'll see just how this goes. 3 fungals, by the way. But, all right, coming to the fourth base, Nerchio going to be able to take a fight here. Infestor is on the high ground. A good fungal growth or two could start this fight off quite well. But rather than going in from the tail end, cuts off reinforcements, finds the Queen so awkwardly in the middle of the map. We'll lose like a Mutalisk or two at most, but the transfuses from Vortix are not too bad. Fourth base falls for Nerchio while this is going on, but the Infestors are finally out in the front lines. This was what he was waiting for. He couldn't go in nakedly with the Mutalisks. Now forced to fungal growth. Can he get a good fungal? First one is all right at best. Loses the fourth already. Will he lose the third, or will he hold on to this? Infested Terrans coming down in abundance, and beautiful fungals start going off. Again, Hydras only have 80 health. They're glass cannons at best, guys. Looks like Nerchio should be able to take this fight, although the Mutalisk cat will be incredibly soft, and never mind. After losing that third base underneath, a good game is called, and Nerchio, well, actually, sorry, Vortix, we'll tie it up 1-1.